What if you could sell covered calls on expensive stocks like Nvidia, Microsoft, or Amazon without buying 100 shares first? Well, that's the whole idea behind the poor man's covered call. A traditional covered call can be a nice way to earn income, but it's got this one big flaw. It usually takes a lot of capital. So if a stock trades at $400, you need around $40,000 to buy those 100 shares before you can even sell the call. And for many traders, it's just not possible. But with a poor man's covered call, you don't buy the shares outright. Instead, you use a deep, in-the-money leaps call to get stock-like exposure at a fraction of the cost, and then you sell shorter-term calls against it to generate income. So you still get the income potential by selling covered calls, but without tying up as much in the underlying stock. So in this video, I'm going to break down how poor man's covered calls work, why they can be a more capital-efficient trade, at least compared with traditional covered calls, and what you need to watch out for before making your first trade. Now, in case you're not familiar, a call option is a contract that gives the buyer the right, but not the obligation, to buy a specific asset, like a stock or commodity, at a specified price at any point before the expiration date. When you buy a call, you enter a long position and you pay a premium for that contract, and it's usually expressed per share. And since options are for 100 shares, the premium would be times 100 for the contract. Now, on the other side of the trade, the person who sells the call gets the premium in exchange for the obligation to sell 100 shares of the underlying stock if the buyer chooses. And this would be call assignment. Now, a covered call starts with selling a call option, but it has one important requirement. You have to own the stock at the time you sell the call. Now, maybe that wouldn't be a problem for you. Maybe you bought a stock trading at around $50 or $100. But say you want to sell covered calls on Microsoft, and today it's trading around $400. Well, you'd essentially need to fork over $40,000 or more to buy 100 shares of the stock if you didn't already own them. And only then could you sell a covered call. And it's the same for most of the popular high-growth tech stocks today, right? Google's at 380, Amazon's at 270, Meta, even worse, at 610. And if you wanted to go with an index ETF like the SPY, well, it's trading at $718. So if you wanted to sell covered calls on high-quality mega-cap stocks like those in the Magnificent Seven, or on an index ETF, you're going to need at least 100 shares or units first. And that might be fine for many investors. But if you're just starting out, it may not really be feasible. And that's where poor man covered calls come in. A poor man's covered call is a substitute for a covered call. It lets you sell covered calls with much smaller accounts. Here's what it looks like, at least in practice. First, instead of holding 100 shares, you start by buying a call option that expires far into the future, maybe a year or more. And these are called LEAPs, or long-term equity anticipation securities. And since you've bought the call option, it's said that you're long on the option. With this trade leg, the goal is to get stock-like exposure without paying the full price for the actual stock. That way, you can control 100 shares for less than buying them outright. But the key here is that the LEAPS option gives you stock-like exposure, and I'll explain how to get that in a moment. Now, the next step is to sell a call option against that LEAPS call. Usually, traders sell short calls with 30 to 45 days to expiration, and that's where your income is going to come from. And since you sold a short call, it's said that you're short. Now, the goal of selling poor man's covered calls is for the stock to trade below the covered call strike at expiration. As long as that happens, you can repeat the process over and over, selling another covered call against your LEAP call and earning more and more income. Ideally, traders would want to do this until there's about 2 to 3 months before the LEAPS call expires. And that's because as the LEAPS call gets closer to expiration, it becomes more sensitive to time decay, or Theta. And this is the phenomenon in which an option's time value generally declines as time passes, or all things being equal, the rate of decay increases as expiration gets closer. By the way, we discussed Theta in this video along with all the other Greeks out here if you want to check it out. In any event, at that point, the long call starts acting less than a long-term stock replacement and more like a regular short-term option. So instead of holding it right to the end, it's usually best practice to roll the long call out to a later expiration, or you can close the position for a profit and move on. So why do we use in-the-money leaps calls for a poor man's covered call? Well, simple. If they're in the money enough, they start to behave like stocks, or at least close to it. If the stock goes up $1, well, so does the premium, and that's the idea. So the more stock-like that the call option is, the cleaner the strategy becomes, and that's where delta comes in. Delta is the options Greek that measures how much an options premium will change for every $1 in the stock price. Call option with a 40 delta should gain roughly 40 cents if the stock rises $1, though that relationship will change over time. But for the long call, since you want it to move more like a stock, you're going to need a delta of around 90 or higher. Okay, so now the fun begins. Let's say you just bought your leaps call, and now you get to sell your covered call against it. The goal in selling covered calls, of course, is for them to expire worthless. That means the stock is going to trade below the strike price at expiration. And if it happens, the option disappears from your brokerage account, and you can sell another again and again. What we'll want to do now is choose a strike price that's slightly out of the money. So if the stock is trading at $100, you might sell the $105, $110, or maybe even the $115 call. These are all out of the money. But remember, the higher the strike price, the less money you'll make. So there's going to be a bit of a balancing act to consider, and I'll talk more about that in a bit. But how do we pick the right strike price on a covered call? Now, there is the interactive chart if you want to do it manually, but if you want a shortcut, you can find the trader's cheat sheet right here for technical analysis metrics. But my personal favorite is to check the expected move. This is essentially the estimate of where the stock will potentially trade on a given expiration date. If we know this, then we can set the strike just a little bit higher. You can open the P&L chart for any covered call trade on the screener right here, then go to expected move, and then find the upper end of the range for the expiration date that you want. And then you can sell a covered call with a strike just above that. Now for the fun part. Let's find an example trade right here on Barchart from the beginning. Nvidia, this is one of the hottest stocks right now. So let's use that as our underlying. To start, we'll go to the profile page, head on over to long calls / puts, and then I'll change the expiration date to something far away in the future. All right, here's the June 17th, 2027 call. Now, each of these headings can be clicked on to rearrange the list from highest to lowest, or vice versa. And I'm going to click the Moneyness tab to change it from highest to lowest. And of course, I want to trade with around a 90 delta. And here we go. According to the screener, you can buy a $120 strike long call on Nvidia for $88.80 per share, which is around $107 cheaper than the stock's current trading price of around $196. In any case, it's going to cost $8,880 for the call option, because remember, one call option is for 100 shares. And that trade has a delta of 89.6. So that's it for our long call. Next up, the covered call. To find a trade, I'm going to go to the covered call screener, then change the expiration date, this time to about a month out. Let's say June 5th, 2026, and it's 31 days away. Now, there are a few trades here to pick from, so to help me find a good strike price, I'm going to click on the profit and loss chart right here, then go to expected move. And this will tell me where the stock might trade on a specific date. Here it says that Nvidia is expected to trade between $179 and $213 by June 5th. So to be safe, I could sell a covered call at a strike price just a little bit higher than the expected range, say $215. And right now, you can sell that particular call option for $3.55 a share. So you'd receive $355 total per contract. That's your income, and you get to keep it no matter what happens. Now, let's fast forward to June 5th and say Nvidia is now trading at $200. That means your covered call is out of the money because the strike is still higher than the stock price. The option expires worthless, and you get to sell another. Meanwhile, the Leaps call still has 377 days to expiration, so you can sell another call that expires in another 30 days. This time, you'll probably want to set the strike price higher, but regardless, you're going to collect more premium. As long as this new covered call expires worthless, you can do this again and again as long as it doesn't expire in the money, or if you decide to close out the long call. So what happens if it does expire in the money? Well, let's say it's getting close to expiration and your stock is trading above your covered call strike. Say Nvidia trades at $225 a share. Now your $215 strike covered call is in the money. Well, now what? Well, your first step will likely be to buy back the covered call to avoid assignment. And since it's already in the money, the premium will likely be more than you initially got for it. That means you're going to take a loss on that side of the trade. But wait, let's say, for example, that $215 strike short call is now worth $14 a share, or $1,400 per contract. Considering that you got $355 as the initial premium, closing that short call means you'll pay an additional $1,045 to get out of the trade. But the premium on your Leaps call is also going to be worth a lot more, and that's because the stock went up. And since the stock went up around $29 in this hypothetical scenario, we can estimate that the premium will rise by about the same amount. Again, because your deep in the money Leaps call should move very closely to the stock itself. And that's the entire point of using them in this strategy. So let's say your $120 Leaps call is now worth $118 a share, or $11,800 total, and you decide to sell it. Well, remember, you initially paid $8,880 for that Leaps call, so now you've got a gross profit of $2,920 from that sale. Subtract that $1,045 loss from closing the covered call, and you're left with a nice little profit of $1,875. Of course, another thing you could do is adjust your Leaps call to a higher strike price or expiration, or both, but that would be a topic for another video. Poor man's covered calls can be a nice alternative to the traditional covered call, but it's not bulletproof. There's no such thing in trading. So let's go over the risks. The first one is that while the Leaps call is kind of like owning a stock, it's still an option. And the fact is, all options have an expiration date. If you own a stock and the stock falls in value, you can just hold it and wait for it to recover. But if you own a Leaps call and the underlying stock falls significantly, you may not have that same choice. And that's because if the stock doesn't recover before expiration, you could lose some or all of the premium that you paid. Of course, whatever premiums you did collect for selling covered calls against it will absolutely help offset any potential losses in your Leaps call. And that leads me to the second and final risk that comes with all short options. That's early or unexpected assignment. And this can happen if the holder of your call exercises their option before expiration, forcing you to deliver the 100 shares immediately rather than on the expiration date. And it's more likely to happen when the covered call is deep in the money or right before an ex-dividend date. But don't worry, if that happened, you too could exercise your Leaps call and buy the shares at the strike price, and that'll cover your assignment. Now, there is a way to reduce early assignment risk. If at any point before expiration, traders have the opportunity to buy back the covered call at around 20% of the original credit they received, well, they'll usually do it. That way, they pocket 80% of net premium and avoid any further chance of early assignment on that trade, and now they're free to sell another covered call. Let me give you an example. Say you earned $100 selling a covered call, and now you can buy it back for $20. That means you crystallize 80% of the premium. And some brokerages allow you to do this trade right at the start. Let the robots do it for you. It's going to make your life so much easier. The poor man's covered call is a capital-efficient alternative to selling traditional covered calls. With this strategy, you use a deep in-the-money Leaps call to mimic owning 100 shares of the stock, and then you sell covered calls against it to earn income. You get upside exposure to high-quality stocks without forking over thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars to get into the stock position. And that's why the poor man's covered call can be a powerful strategy for traders who want to generate income with less capital. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think the poor man's covered call is a good strategy for you, or do you prefer the traditional version? And do you have any other topics you'd like us to cover in the future? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps others find the video, it supports the channel, and it makes sure that you don't miss out on our next deep dive. Well, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.